the most untapped market in the world right now in terms of copywriting and digital marketing. Literally, nobody is doing this well. Like, there are a lot of people who do YouTube script writing. If I put out a job post, I'll get 500 applications, but they'll all be dog shit because they have no idea how to write YouTube scripts, right? So what we're going to focus on is YouTube scripts specifically for educational content. This is not going to be for content like top 10 fucking super yachts in the world, or top 10 this, or, you know, you won't believe what like Justin Timberlake did this week. This is going to be for like 3 easy ways to grow your business through SEO, or, you know, the number one thing holding back physiotherapists from getting more business, or something like that. Like, basically, the script writing I'm going to teach you here teaches you how to write YouTube scripts that people read off a teleprompter on their camera in a way that makes the people that watch the videos want to buy things from that person and want to watch more of their content, which is what every single business owner in the world wants. Anyone who uses YouTube to grow their business, which is a huge market, anyone who uses it wants people to watch more of their content and wants people to buy more stuff, because then they get more famous, they get more views, which just looks good, and they also make more money from every view that they earn. So in this video, I'm going to basically teach you the basics of where YouTube script writing sits in the grand scheme of things, and why it's so valuable and why people will pay for it, right? So what you usually have in an info business. So what do I mean by an info business, or any sort of agency business, or, you know, a service-based business, or a company that consults. So I'm going to take the example of somebody that I know personally, right? There's a guy who's like, I think he's like a chiropractor or a physiotherapist, right? And so this guy, his business, right? He has a physical in-person business, but he also sells like ebooks and training courses for old people to improve their movement and mobility, right? Really, really, really niche thing. So this is his business over here. Let's just say his business is like a $500 course and a $50 ebook, right? These are actually irrelevant, like whatever the prices are for this thing, right? So this is his business. This is where he makes his money, right? And so this is what's called the offer. So in any business, online, info business, like anyone who sells information or advice or coaching, anything like that, this is a really, really simple business to run. And most people complicate it, right? So, and this will make sense to you as to why you are involved. Like, you don't run this business right now. If you're watching this, maybe this has been shared with you and you're a business owner and you run a business that uses YouTube scripts, but for the majority, it's you're basically just a script writer right now. So there's three main parts, right? So there's traffic, funnel, and offer. So traffic is basically how you get people into your business. So you think you have a store on the street, people walk in because they see it on the street. If it's an online business, maybe they see an advert, maybe they see, you know, a YouTube video. A YouTube video comes up targeted at the type of person that you want to come into your store. And so that's how you get traffic. Traffic is just the people you want to bring in. And then you have funnel. Funnel is the sales process in which you take your traffic and you get them to your offer, which is where the money happens, right? And so this is generally where like a lot of copywriters will work. It's generally in the funnel, because they can write emails that target the people who have joined the funnel. So someone watches my video, then they go in here and they want to buy from me, and they go through a couple of web pages, and then we send them emails, and those emails sell them like our products and stuff like that, like stuff like this here. And then we have our offer, which is just whatever you sell, your product or your service or whatever. That's just an offer, right? So we are not going to be worrying about this part today, but what we do is directly relevant to all of this, and it's super valuable. It's honestly, without good script writing, like, this doesn't make anywhere near as much money. So traffic. So the average like we're going to be targeting businesses who use YouTube to get traffic, right? So that's all you need to know. So they put out a YouTube video, right? And what you have on YouTube is basically the video and then the description. And then the description, there's a link to go to my website, go to my blah, blah, blah. And that's where they send people to their funnel. And so generally people don't just click this link. They have to be told in the video, hey, link in bio, go buy my thing down below. And where script writing really comes in is that if you're making a video, you don't want to sell people like right at the start. You can do that. It's just not, it just doesn't typically work, right? Someone clicks on a YouTube video. If they immediately are advertised to buy something, they probably will click off the video, which means they don't get to see what was in the video. And the whole point of the video, right, there's always going to be a purpose of the video. It's to teach them something. So if you're not going to teach them anything, or if you don't give them any value, then they don't care about you, and they're certainly not going to buy anything from you, right? So you basically want to retain the person as much as you can to watch to the end of the video. Because, and I could get really, really deep on YouTube here, but I'm not gonna. I'm gonna try and keep this as simple as I can for you. Basically, you really, 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 really want to get people to watch the entire video, because it will promote the hell out of your video and get you a lot of views, and it'll promote every other video on your channel, right? So what this is called is retention. So this is called retention, right? And this is basically, you basically, whoever makes YouTube videos, like I'll show you some retention graphs in a second. Whoever makes these YouTube videos can see from the back of the YouTube channel, you can see like what the retention, so how many people are watching at every single second in the video, right? Gives you very accurate data on this. And so where a good scriptwriter comes in, I'm going to show you examples right now. So basically, like, you want to get people watching the whole video because they get to know the person. So they get to, like, let's say it's from my channel, right? If they watch the entire video, they get to know me really well. They start to understand my personality and they start to like me a little bit more. That's like anyone who's probably watching this has come from YouTube, because I focus solely on YouTube. I want to make content so that I teach you something up front and I'm not just selling you straight away, because I want you to actually take away value from my stuff, because if you take away value, you'll want to work with me in the future, right? So you get the person, the reason you want to retain people, the reason anyone does YouTube, it's to develop sort of a relationship with the person that's on the videos. So you start to like whoever you're watching. So you need to keep them entertained. You need to keep them educated. You need to be teaching them stuff that they're like, okay, this guy's funny and he's teaching me shit. I really like this guy. I'm going to watch more of his content. I might not buy anything today, but I might buy something down the line. And even the fact of you watching the video benefits the person, because it pushes the video to someone else. If YouTube sees, okay, this guy is, a lot of people are watching this video, it doesn't matter if they're not buying anything from here, YouTube's going to push you more, and then eventually more people will buy stuff from here. The more views you get, the more stuff people buy stuff from here. So the reason you want to get people watching the whole way through is so they get to know the person, they like the person, and then eventually you also sell stuff, right? So let's say we take the example of that physiotherapist again. So let's say at this point in the video, at like 80% in, and at this point, maybe you only do it once, maybe you do it twice, but at two different points in the video, he might sell something. He might sell you, hey, go check out my ebook. This helps you exactly with the problems that you're facing. If you're struggling to sort of, get up the stairs, these 3 exercises will help you do that, and you can get that in the link in the description. And then they go into the funnel, they buy the $50 ebook or whatever, right? But what's really, really important here, and this is why like shitty script writers don't get paid, is because they can't retain people, because they don't know how to write in a way that makes people want to continue watching. So if, let's say, a shitty script writer writes the script will, the retention graph will look like this. So at the start, so if you see me down here, at the start of the video, you'll start to, like, everybody, this is pretty much the same in every video. There's going to be a dip, right? So a lot of people will click on a YouTube video and immediately drop off. Like, there's always a percentage of people, you can't avoid it. But where a good scriptwriter comes in is, instead of just like having a massive drop, this is what a shit scriptwriter will do. This is what a shit script looks like, right? Generally, the script will look like that. If they're a terrible scriptwriter, if they write a really bad intro, and then the video is just boring and people don't have any reason to continue watching, you'll just slowly see people start to drop off, right? Whereas a good script will probably look something like this, right? That's pretty much what it looks like. A good script will look like this. And, you know, an amazing script will, you know, it's always, there's no point trying to like pretend there's no dip, right? Let me see if I can scroll down here. So an amazing script is generally just where it's like that, and then it's as straight as humanly possible. There's no dip. And then this is where they click off the video, and we try and get them to watch another video. Most shitty script writers try and sell something at the end of the video. They're like, oh yeah, okay, I'm gonna write the script for this guy and he wants to sell his ebook, so I'm just gonna put it at the end. When in reality, we don't want to send people away from YouTube. We want to send them to another YouTube video, because if people watch a lot of your YouTube content, YouTube's gonna be like, this guy's keeping people on the platform. This guy's really, really good at YouTube. We should push his videos more, right? So this is where you send people to your next video, not where you send them away from the website. Very, very important. So crucially important. So now I'm going to show you basically some scripts before and after I learned how to write scripts. So here are some scripts. As you can see, I was a shitty script writer and I just rambled. Most people, the reason you need YouTube scripts is because most people just ramble. They'll make an educational piece of content, and like this dickhead right here, they'll think that people are just entitled, like they're just entitled to people's time, and that people should just watch them because they've made the video and they've done some editing, and like a lot of people will think like, oh, if I just put flashy editing, the video will be good. It will not be good. It is all about the person talking. Like if the person talks, if the audio is good, they have a decent setup, as long as you can talk, you'll be fine. If you see any of Andrew Tate's stuff, right? Perfect example. That guy had the shittiest setup of all time in a lot of his videos. It was just him on a bed or him sitting outside a pool or something like that. But because he was really good at talking, it was entertaining. People don't really give a fuck about the setting as much if you're entertaining. Obviously, these other things you can fix, your audio, your editing, all that sort of shit. But that's easy stuff. This is where it's actually valuable, is the script. What the person says. So this is what a shitty script looks like. As you can see at the start of the video, always starts off with like 90, 100%. And then it goes down to like 50. And then over the whole video, by the end of the video, we have 10% of the people who clicked on it, right? So this is where it's important. So by the end of the video, the amount of people who clicked on this video, this got 3,800 views, right? So 3,800 people clicked on this video, and by the end, 380 people were watching. Of that amount of people, right, you obviously want to get that as high as possible, because if you're selling something here, you want as many people as humanly possible to see it, because once you get into the next step, right, so we're going to keep this to YouTube script writing, but if I just move this little thing, but once you get here, right, it's all just a numbers game. It's all just a numbers game, right? So when they get into this funnel, let's say 1,000 people see your video and 500 people click the link, and then that means it's 500 people in your funnel, right? 500 people in this sales process, out of that 500 people, maybe in the end, 10 people buy. That 10 people results in, if you're selling a $500 offer, it's $5,000, right? Let's say if the reason like a lot of copywriters work in the funnel is because it's very easy to say, hey, look, you know, we are basically gonna make sure that if 1,000 people come in here and you're currently getting like 200 people that buy, we're gonna improve your copy and 300 people are gonna buy. So you're gonna get 100 extra purchases, which is an extra whatever, like $50,000 or something, right? So we can add $50,000 to your revenue with our copy, right? So that's generally how copywriters work. Whereas nobody ever really looks at this shit, and this is really important. Nobody ever looks at this traffic, which is the first place that people see you in the first place, right? So it's, you know, anybody can get people into their funnel, and there's lots of training on how to sell people in a funnel, you know, like you can do email campaigns, you can do webinars, you can do VSLs, all these different things, right? But nobody ever talks about script writing. And this is why script writing is so valuable. So as you can see here, this is the worst graph of all time. Like this is just not what you want. 54% of people are watching it. So literally half the people who clicked on the video have fucked off after like 30 seconds. 30 seconds. You know, you don't even have time to introduce yourself or make them like you or sell anything or tell them any value. In 30 seconds, you're giving away nothing, right? So if we look at this one, This is a little bit better, but this is still not the best, right? We want to aim generally, depending on the size of the video. If it's a longer video, if it's a video between like 5 and 10 minutes long, you want to have at least 50% retention. Because if you have 50% retention, the video is going to be strong. Like that's a good amount, right? So as you can see, there's a lot less drop off, but it's still 61%. But like it's generally going to be like that. But you want to get it to roughly 70 or above percent is a really good metric to aim for with your intros. So like if 70% of the people are still watching in 30 seconds, you're doing something good. And then at the end, but you can also see like there's just a slow dip till the end of the video, which means there's nothing that keeps the viewer entertained. More and more people at any point in the video drop off. And so this tells me that the script on this video was shitty. So that's why. So then less people just watch, and less people are obviously finding value in it. You know what I mean? So you can see this here, right? So you just don't want it to be a constant slow stream down. So those are two shitty ones, right? Those are two ones that I wrote before I really learned how to write scripts and before I found it important. Now, this is another script. I thought I probably have another couple of shitty scripts. But this is another one, and this is interesting. So this is 5 niches that, you know, this video did all right, but just because of the topic, not because of the script. So as you can see, like 30% average view duration, not very good. On a 16-minute video, you'd want that a little bit higher. And really big drop off, you know, not even near 70%. And you can see it's just a slow dip. Like there's these little spikes. These are spikes are when people go back. So there's something I said at each point that people go back to, right? And that's a little bit more advanced than you need to learn right now. Again, this is another one where, okay, it looks like a better one because it's like less of a drop off, but it's also a much shorter video. And so like for a shorter video, you'd want like a even higher percentage. You want like 60%, right? So again, this is just a kind of boring video. Like nobody, like by the end of the video, you have 30% of people staying, and it's just a slow dip. You know what I mean? There's nothing exciting. Now let's look at some good scripts. What do you think the retention will look like on a good script? This is it, right? This is not the best script. This is the best script I've probably done. So this is a 5-minute video, and as you can see, like the amount of people that are still here is at about 70%. And that's because if you watch the video, now obviously it's related to the script heavily, but there's some visual elements for this one. So I filmed this one in the desert, which I knew would grab people's attention, because how many people in the copywriting niche can film outside in the desert? This is Tony. Tony is a beginner. So you can see like what a decent script looks like. It generally keeps like 60%, like from 30 seconds to like 2 minutes, you keep the same amount of people, which is really, really good. And then you can start to see some dips, right? I'm not perfect, but you start to see some dips. And you see that by like 70%, like 50% of the people are here. Whereas if we go back through, let's look at 70% of here, it's like 34%. So you can see that like at this point in the video, there's like 15% less people. And however many views that video gets, you want to have that extra 15% of people, because that extra 15% of people could make up for a lot of money, right? We really don't really worry about like the rest of this shit. There's so much more to like why it's important, but I'm just going to tell you straight up, you want to have the highest possible retention, the most amount of people seeing your videos. This is another one where we kind of had a drop off, but like as you can see, it's still nearly 70%, which is decent. And then again, like you kind of keep like a decent level. You kind of, it's like if we go through, it's like 40%. This could have been done better, but like as you can see, they're improving. So I'm going to actually try and find you some more examples, because I know I probably have some, and I'll just pause this and then come back. Okay, so we're back. Now, this is another video where it's a lower percentage viewed, but it's a 10-minute video and it's also a tutorial, right? So there is a little bit of nuance here. Some videos get more. So this is a longer video that done really well, and it's not because of the script necessarily, because as you can see, this is a 30%, right? So this slightly contradicts what I've been teaching you, but this is also a tutorial, and tutorials don't perform as well, because the purpose of a tutorial is to teach someone how to do a specific process, right? Whereas a lot of people watch YouTube videos not because they're in the middle of doing a job and they need to learn how to do it. People are watching YouTube because they want to be entertained and they want to learn stuff, right? And so this video was too heavy on the learning and not enough on the entertaining, and it didn't perform as well. Now, it's not a bad video, but I'm not going to explain that now as to why not. It's a tutorial. It teaches them how to do something. It builds a little bit more trust, and for the people who do stay, they learn a lot, and then they're more likely to buy, right? But I'm going to teach you how to focus on just entertaining people, because that's really important, right? So for this video, you can see there's a drop off, and the drop off for me probably came, if I just analyze this one myself, it's probably because there was someone else in the video. So I got my friend to stand and like open in the first line, and people probably clicked off because they're like, why is the guy in the thumbnail not opening the video? So if you watch
Have you ever wondered what it would be like to look over the shoulder at $1 million professional copywriter?
So that was just obviously like a weak enough line. Like, we could have done better. I thought it was good, but it's like, you can always improve. But still, we sort of salvaged it. Like 60% wasn't the worst on this one. And because like you can see that it was a fairly stable graph and there's not even a drop off at the end. So this is a fairly decent one. We got 45% views, or 45%, we're aiming for 50. And like, my channel isn't perfect, but because I kind of know what I have to do, it's way better than where it was before. So if our videos before were just going way down here, like going to the bottom and then just slowly getting even worse, that's the worst case scenario. That's what most YouTubers have. That's what most business owners have. What you want is this, at least at the start, where it's like, okay, you're retaining people, you could do better, but this is like the bare minimum now, right? I would never want a script going out that I think is not going to do at least this. So at least like 45%. And so this is why script writing is really important. And what you're going to learn in this mini course, this video is going to be very different to what the rest of the videos are going to look like, because they're going to be about actually scripting. But the reason for this video is just to actually teach you, look, why is it important? Because if you don't understand why it's important, you won't be able to sell it to anyone. If you go off and pitch this to, if you make your business, I'm a YouTube scriptwriter, you can basically understand like why script writing is important in the first place. Because if someone asks you like, why is it important, you can tell them, well, I'll get more people to watch your shit and more people will eventually then buy from that. So that's YouTube script writing. That's the understanding. What you're going to learn in this course is like a ton of techniques and tools that you can use to write scripts. You're also going to get the framework for like what a script should look like. You're also going to learn like how you should be writing your script. So there's an entire process to like coming up with the script. Like an example of it's going to be, basically a lot of people will just write an intro and it's going to be such a shit basic intro. But what I like to do in all my videos is write at least 3 intros and then go back the next day and choose the best one and like show somebody else the intros and say, what's your favorite and why? And then you can cut down little lines and you can fix things, right? Script writing is so valuable, and if you want to get good at it, this course is going to teach you that. And I don't know if I'm ever even going to sell this. I'm probably going to, my first thing I'm doing right now is I'm giving it to my existing customers. So if you're watching, hello to you. If you're a business owner and you're watching this, hello. And if you've bought this, you've made a great decision, because you're about to learn an absolutely insanely valuable skill that I have spent tens of thousands of dollars on. So yeah, that's pretty much going to be it. And let's get on to the next video.
Okay, now we're on to module 4, client acquisition. The first lesson here is going to show you the 5 best niches to write for as a copywriter. Let's jump into it, mate.
I've worked in every single copywriting niche known to man. Every single one of them. I've worked with clients like TikTok, Warner Brothers, Burger King, and the BBC. Not that kind of BBC. Yeah, the BBC. And here's the truth. 95% of these niches are useless if you want to make money as a copywriter. So if you can spend 10 or 15 minutes watching this YouTube video, I promise I'm going to save you thousands of hours of wasted time working with the wrong copywriting niches, because this is something that can absolutely sink you as a beginner. Most beginners don't make it because they just quit at a certain point, and most of the reason they quit is because they've been doing the wrong thing and they're not getting results. So if I can help you get results a lot faster, the chances of you quitting and stopping are a lot less. So give me 10 minutes here, promise it'll be worth your time. Now listen, don't get me wrong, there are people who make money with every different kind of niche as a copywriter, but you really want to make big money here. You're not talking about making like $50 and getting about 3 clients every 6 months, you want to make real money. So I'm just going to save you all of the wasted effort on working with these niches that there's actually no money in. So many people start businesses and work in niches where, yeah, it might look cool, but there's actually no money in it. Like, how many people do you know that started a clothing brand online selling these crappy printed clothes for like $50? Maybe you've even done this, so tough love if you have, and it didn't work out because it's not a fun, it's not an actual business that generates money. It's just a fun business you wanted to start. And let's be real here. What do I always say in these videos? Time is money, and you do not have time to waste right now. If you're watching this video, you don't have time to waste. Every single second that you waste doing the wrong thing is wasting your time, and every second of time is worth money. So by all means, if you have the perfect life situation right now and you're really happy with where you are, go ahead and quit. Don't bother watching this video, don't bother working with the right niches, but honestly, if you want to make money, you can't waste time on this stuff. So with that being said, let's go through and show you the 5 most profitable niches for copywriters in 2024. And I'm not going to bullshit you here. I'm not going to save the best one to last and try some retention hacks to get you to basically watch the end of this video. If you find it valuable and if you think this is worth your time, then you're going to watch the video anyway. So I'm just going to give you the most valuable stuff as it comes, and the entire video is going to be valuable. My time is worth money too. I'm not sitting here wasting my time telling you absolute bullshit. So before I get into the 5 niches, I have to set the playing field here and let you understand what makes a niche good or bad. So there are 3 things at play here. First of all, the niche has to actually be profitable, meaning the profit margins with whatever products or services your clients are going to sell need to be large. You can't be writing for companies who are making like 10 grand a month or something and they're only keeping 1 grand a month, because out of that 1k a month, they're not going to have much money to pay you as a copywriter. They need to have a really high margin or else be doing an absolutely insane volume of sales in order to be able to pay you a lot of money. It's simple math. You could be the best copywriter in the world, but if you're in a shit niche with no money in it, you're not going to make a lot of money. And the phrase, the rising tide lifts all boats, basically means that if you are in a market or a niche where there's a lot of money coming through, you can be shit at what you do but still make money because the market is so strong. So if you're a copywriter and you're a beginner especially, you want to get into the strongest market of all time here. You want to get into the best markets, and so that's why I'm going to show you these niches, because if you get into the wrong one, yeah, a good copywriter might be able to make good money in it, but a good copywriter could make 10 times more if he's in a better niche. The second question people always have about niches is, how specific should I go in my niche? And this is a good question, because you could be super broad and be like, hey, I work with fitness companies, and that's not specific enough to be like, okay, what type of fitness companies? You could work with e-commerce companies and just say, I work with e-com companies, but there are like millions of types of e-commerce companies, so this isn't really a good enough answer either. But you also can't go too far off the deep end where you're like, okay, I work with fitness trainers in the Dubai area that sell kettlebell fitness programs and they only specifically serve ketogenic diet people. You can't go too specific, because if you really think about it then with your outreach, you're trying to outreach to these people and there's probably like 15 coaches in the world who are that specific. So yeah, if you want to go that specific and you can put a lot of effort into the client acquisition, absolutely fine, but you probably don't know how to do that yet, so don't waste your time on it. So when you're choosing a niche, you don't want to go too specific or too broad, but what you can do, for example, is go for fitness trainers who teach the keto diet and do calisthenics workouts, and you can do that anywhere in the UK, anywhere in the US, and that means you're applying a couple of specific criteria to the people you want to work with, but you're not getting too specific and you're not too broad. This comes down to something called your total addressable market, and this is something I can talk about in another video, so leave a comment if you want to see that. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is picking a niche that you actually care about or know something about. Please, for the love of God, don't just choose a niche because there's money in it and absolutely know nothing about it, because you realize you have to spend like 10 hours a day trying to research this niche or work in this niche, and if you don't give a shit about female beauty products, why would you do it? Like, why would you spend all your time doing that? There's female copywriters who could work with those types of people, but if you're more interested in fitness, for example, you would want to work with people in that niche. Let's start with number 5, the personal development and relationships niche. Now, it's no surprise on earth that one of the most broad problems that people have in their lives that would need to be solved by a product or service would be their relationships, their confidence, and their quality of life. And the best thing
about this niche is that I know I'm saying niche and niche a lot, and I'm not going to tell you when I'm going to say either, so just deal with it. But the best thing about this niche is that a broke or a rich person will have the same problem, maybe on a different scale, but a rich person could have all the money in the world, but their relationships with their family are terrible, or with their spouse could be terrible, and that means that they have a lot of money to spend on fixing that problem. The same goes with someone who's not making a lot of money, which is why the market for this is so insanely big, and that's why you see people like Tony Robbins or David Goggins or anyone with ins at the end of their name doing really, really well out of this niche. Actually, give me a minute. I'm going to type someone in here and see if this person also ends with ins. Mel Robbins. Yes, another one of these motivational speakers. Mel Robbins. So if your second name is Robbins, you're probably going to do quite well.